some tips to help you prepare for the next interview. Number one, search for key information regarding the company and prepare some questions which will be adapted to your interviewer. For example, if you're going to meet with a recruiter, prepare some questions about the key requirements for the position. When you're going to meet with the HR, try to find some questions around the corporate culture and values. If you're going to meet with a hiring manager and operational business managers, prepare some questions around the business, about the business perspectives, about the challenges with figures, something more factual maybe. Number two, analyze the job description and look at each and every items in the job description to put it against your own experience and set skills. Number three, prepare your service offer as you would prepare an elevator speech to present a service or a product or a company. Be very precise and very clear to what you can bring to a company, as if you were presenting a product to a potential buyer. Do your own marketing.
So I've written down some tips that I'm going to share with you about what's really happening in interviews, what my top tips are as well, to try and get more of an overview, I suppose, of the mindset of someone during an interview and how we can affect that to your advantage. So the first point to remember is that the interviewer, the hiring manager, isn't necessarily a professional interviewer. Okay, so what I mean by that is that he won't always help you to help yourself. You have to do that on your own. So he might not ask the question that allows you to give the best response. So you need to kind of think about what he's saying and elaborate to your own benefit. So to build on that, try and avoid saying no. So if he asked you, have you ever been to the moon, for example, instead of answering with a negative, try and think about what you've done that he hasn't already asked you about that you can build on this with. So instead of saying, no, I haven't been to the moon, start with, well, what I have done is I've been up in a plane and I've experienced zero gravity, which should lend itself to a career in space travel, for example. Okay. Also, try and mirror your interviewer. Okay. Your interview process is about character. It's not about you giving as much information as you can. So try and mirror the person, their body language. If they're relaxed, be relaxed, but don't mimic. So if they were to, touch their face like that, don't do exactly the same thing. Okay, so it's mirroring. All right.
Finally, some research shows that the last impression you make is as important as the first one. So here are some killer's goodbye you won't use. For example, when talking to a recruiter, you won't say at the end of an interview for a particular position for a particular company, and apart from this position, would you have anything else for me? To a hiring manager within the company who recruits, at the end of an interview, you won't ask, this job is very interesting, but I used to have a more important position with more responsibilities, so I'm keen in starting in this position, but do you think in a short term there might be another position open for me? These are real life examples that we've seen and our clients sometimes relate to us.
Okay, so just to finish off, to talk about a few big no-nos in an interview. The number one culprit, of course, is mobile phones. It's obvious, so obvious, but so frequently, not only are they left on, they're on the desks, they're flashing away, and many times they're actually answered. Now, this is very common during interviews in Singapore, where I've heard people pick up their phones and say, I'm in an interview, can I call you back? Just think about what impression that gives to someone. So whenever it happens to me, I always ask the question of the coachee, what impression do you think that gives to me? Okay, so just be aware of that during the interview. It sounds obvious, but even to have it on vibrate, it may as well be on as loud as possible when it's in your bag, vibrating away during an interview. So that's something obvious. Something a little less obvious is nervousness as a big no-no. Okay, so people often say to me, well, you can't help being nervous. Okay, why is this? What is it that we can do about that? But there is help available. So for me, there's no excuse about going into an interview being nervous. Okay, If you prepare, you can be less nervous. If you prepare to be less nervous, you can be less nervous. And there's help out there from coaches, through experiences, through top tips from experts to be less nervous during an interview. Okay? You can practice this in many different ways. They can be to do with your own mindset, to do with your body, but also about the way that you present yourself as well. So this is a service that's there, people practice it, but they'd rather rehearse their CV. They'd rather think, yeah, I'm a people person, I'll go in there and nail the interview, without actually training themselves on how to come across in the right way during an interview. Okay? When you're nervous, you don't think properly, you don't think straight, you don't think clearly. So that key information, that key piece of information to answer that question is sometimes lost. And that is why the best people for the job don't always get the job. It's the person that can best show that they're the best person for the job that will get it. Good luck.
As a conclusion, don't hesitate when you prepare for an interview to put yourself into the shoes of your interviewer. Practice, use a sounding board, any external help which will give you a honest feedback on the way you present your skills and your experience, on your presentation skills. Put all your chances on your side. Get prepared, and good luck.